Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Ceri. Hello, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Pam.
So let's get straight into it and let's talk about who you are, what you do, but we really want to know where you actually came from. Let's find out a little bit about you first. Who are you? And then let's get into more of the origin story about how you got to where you are now.
Okay, so I'm Ceri Neal and I run a company called Namade Creative. And yeah, it was a bit of a crazy moment. I was in the corporate world working the 9 to 5, lost my marbles, quit my job and started my business. So that's kind of how it happened, really quick. And I gave my notice on the Wednesday, finished on the Friday, and my husband, who's coming to support today, said, have 2 weeks off, take 2 weeks off and chill out. And the Monday morning I was booking into your networking.
Yes, was that Bits for Friends? Was that?
No, it was this one.
It was this one?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, it was January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember that. You chopped a bit of your legs. That was our first day.
Birthday night. Yeah. So I went to that, and the rest is kind of, I would say, history, but I'm a bit of a feminist, so it's my story.
That's what you did there. I like it. I like that a lot, actually. You see, actually, we're big on storytelling, so I actually quite like that. That's brilliant. So, what was the actual motivation for you starting your own company? I know you said that you weren't enjoying it where you were before, but I actually met you in networking whilst you were at your company representing them.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm now suddenly a freelance creative. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What?
And so I basically helped set up the company that I was working for before. There was, I joined the company and I joined as operations manager, which means back of house, heard and not seen, so to speak, which I can do quite well, as most of you will know. I did a lot of the setting up. So the company that I worked for was mortgage brokerage, independent mortgage brokerage. I'd worked for one before previously for 8 years, so I had experience. And I helped set up all the FCA stuff. I helped set up all the compliance. We then decided the week after I started there to change networks. So with a mortgage company, you need to have a network protecting you for anything that comes a cropper. So it's joining the network, setting everything up, setting up the website, setting up emails, setting up social media, HR, contracts for staff, helping take on new staff, making sure payroll was right, commissions was right, bookkeeping, accounting, all that kind of stuff. So jack of all trades, master of none, really, was what I did. And it was kind of like, oh, the light bulb's gone out in there. It's okay, Ceri will do it. Or the website's broken, Ceri will do it. And it was just that big a scope. That's
quite a range of things.
Yeah.
That's very cool, all those things.
Yeah. And I've always been the kind of person that I'd never ask somebody to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Right.
So wherever I've started, I've always started at the bottom and kind of pushed my way through. With a bit of adversity, I'm not going to lie, a bit of you're a girl. So the first management job I got was when I was 21, and I was actually a receptionist. They'd made me redundant.
And I said, I can do his job, to the owner. And he went, you're a girl. And back then you could say that. And I was like, I love a challenge. So there's lots of things. It was indoor motorsport, so right. Corporate entertainment, indoor motorsport, go-karting, and the track now is actually the team sport track that's in Avonmouth.
Oh, right.
So the bridge that's there was built with these hands and drills and tyres and setting everything up.
That's quite a claim to fame, to be honest. I like that.
I wouldn't claim it as fame, but it was hard work. Yeah, it used to be in Portishead and then it moved to Avonmouth. Right. But I originally started in Cardiff. And so there was, I think, anything between 25 and 40 members of staff between the ages of 16 and 50, and they were all men. Right. So the owner was a man, the regional manager was a man, the only person that was female was the lady that worked in the cafe. So I kind of said to him, I want to do it. And it was, well, you're a girl. And I went, Yes, well noticed. And he said, you need National Karting Association race director skills. You've got to do a course. I said, give me 3 months. Pay me what you're paying me now, and I'll show you. 2.5 months later, he gave me the job. So I don't mess about. If I say I'm going to do something, I will do it, and I'll do it to the best of my ability.
That's the way, girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I worked there for another 2 years. Indoor karting in Cardiff became a bit of a waste of money. So there was one in Portishead, head office, and the manager there had just left. So they offered me the job, which they interviewed me for. So I left my family in Wales, moved over to Clevedon, and yeah, I haven't ever gone back, really.
Marvellous.
Yeah. And then from there, I went to work at the University of Bristol. And obviously, I'd done something wrong in a past life because one of my jobs was managing car parking in Clifton, which,
Oh, God.
you know,
God.
they then closed the department that did biometrics and card readers. And that department then fell under my remit. And that's card access for everybody. So all of the students, all of the staff, different levels of access for different people. And I could write a book on craziness that happened there. But yeah, I mean, it was an experience, and you got to meet a lot of the people at University of Bristol. You can't tell, you can't tell if it's a professor, you can't tell if it's a student, you can't tell if it's somebody just walking through the middle of Clifton, because it's not a campus. So working in the security department there was very fun. A lot of the time.
Yeah, so quite a variety of things going on there.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. I remember I was speaking to you before that, you've already said that somebody said, it's like, oh, you can't do this, you're a girl. It's like, oh no, I need to speak to an adult instead. You said that you're actually, what you're doing now, you were doing something kind of similar in your last role. You were asked to do that for a while.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So I've always kind of dabbled in social media because nobody else would. So yet again, changing a light bulb, fixing a website, social media. So for the first mortgage company I worked for, I was there for 8 years, and we rebranded, had a new website, started out on social media. This is pre-TikTok. And I used to do the social media for that. The problem that you have with mortgage companies, and there's a couple of people that might be in the same boat, Danny might be in the same boat, that there's a lot of compliance around social media for mortgage companies.
Right.
So you can't just post, come to us and we'll, definitely get you a mortgage, we'll help you. Because if you come to me and you don't have a job, you've got no income, you've got 25 CCJs, then I can't help you. So you can't say that you can help. You can't say, come to me, we can help. Another thing you couldn't say is, you could say it, you had to prove it. So I did a post that said award-winning mortgage brokerage, and the company that was our network at the time came back and they denied it, and they said, well, who says you're an award-winning mortgage company? And I said, you did. You gave us an award in December, and I literally sent them a picture of the award that they gave it to us at the Christmas award giving. So that's hard work. Working for those type of companies is hard because they do have you have to put on every post, your home can be repossessed if you don't keep up your payments. So you're doing this beautiful post about you at an event, and you met loads of people. It might be like similar to BizFest, and you've got all these smiling faces and clients coming to talk to you. And then underneath that lovely post, you've got in black, bold writing that's bigger than your caption, your home may be repossessed if you don't keep up. And it's hard, it's demoralising.
Yeah, a bit of a down on that, yeah.
Yeah, and even videos, they have to be scripted.
Right.
So you have to send that script to the compliance team. The compliance team will approve it or change it or manipulate it. And then you've got to get somebody from your team who you've chosen to be the face of your social media to do it without going, so when we, literally reading every word, looking, and it's just hard work. So yeah, I used to manage the social media there, and then it turned into writing more blogs, captions, things like that. And if I can't do something, I will say I can't do that. And at that point, I asked him to hire an actual marketing manager, and that's what they did. So then I took over, because they were spending so much time writing, I was then scheduling the posts for that person as well as doing everything else. So little snippets here and there of what I used to do. And I also worked for a training company for a major car company, and we used to make training manuals to take to their sales teams.
Right.
And the car company would send us the images, the logos, the colours, and it had to be bang on. They don't mess about, these major, you know.
Sorry, some of the branding guys in the corner just looked at each other and just went,
Yeah, you cannot, I mean, it's even things like they love a semicolon instead of a comma or a full stop. So it's changing your way of thinking to make sure that you're managing.
Sorry, and at that point I looked at the copywriter in the room, so it's just...
Tim was just like having yeah, so there was lots of things that you've learned all the way through school, and grammar and all that kind of stuff, and you've got to relearn it. But the graphics that they would send you of these cars were phenomenal, you know, like high-end, amazing graphics, and that kind of fueled it for me a little bit more, that I enjoyed that. And years before that, I had to do work experience, and I left it to the last minute, as everybody does. I was in boarding school, so I didn't have family that could drive me to wherever I needed to go. And at the end of the driveway of our boarding school, there was a little office block, and I never knew what it was, and it was a graphic designer. And I went in there and worked for a week there, and at the time, they were designing Boots, the chemist, carrier bags.
Right.
So that was like darkroom photographs, darkroom, and actually making the bags there. And I think that's kind of where it started. But moving to why I started Name Creative is that I know I can do it.
Yeah.
I love doing it. And more importantly, I love helping clients that don't have the time to do it themselves.
Yeah.
You know, Canva, Da Vinci, all that kind of stuff, it takes time.
Yeah.
And it's not a quick fix, and people need to be concentrating on running their business.
Yep.
And that's the stuff that you can outsource out without any worries.
And that's where Name Creative comes in.
That is where we come in. Yes.
So before I get on to the next bit, which is about the fact that you are you're sort of startup. You only started in
February.
February.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I thought it was January.
No.
So wow, even younger than it is. So
yeah. So the birthday
this is being
party-
filmed at the end of April,
Yeah.
and you started
February.
February.
23rd of February.
That's insane. But first of all, I want to know, what's a Namaid?
My son will kill me for this, because this I imagine is going online. But when my little boy was about 2, I'd say, "Love you, mate," and he'd go, "Not as more as I do." And I'm like, "No, it's not as much as I do." And he'd go, "No, not as more as I do." And then the older he got, probably like year 6, he was probably 10, 11, I'd be like, "Love you, mate," and he's like, "Nah, mate." So not as more as I do, nah, mate. So that's what it is. So
That is adorable and fantastic. And is that your son who I met?
yeah, my son who came to Twisted with me. Yeah. So he's now 13.
If you're watching this, we now know it's brilliant. Nice one. You're the reason.
Yeah.
Well done.
So he's now 13, and he's with his mates. And another embarrassing story for him when he's older. I took him to Slimbridge because he loves ducks and geese and all that kind of stuff, which is great. He's 13 and he's not raving and trying to buy things he shouldn't be buying. He for the first time. There's time. Yeah, there's time for that. For the first time, he was with his 2 mates, and he went, "Mum," and I was like, "Mum?" It's been mummy for like 13 years, and then it was the first mum comment, and I was like, okay.
Waiting for the mother.
Yeah, waiting for that.
Her mother?
Yeah, mother. But no, that's where Namade came from. So
Right.
it's not as more as I do Namade, and it's my way of saying his way of saying love you.
That is brilliant, if terrible grammar. I mean, that is. I like that. I love.
No pitching here, Marta. No pitching.
I was going to say that. Thank you.
Nice try. Nice try.
Yeah, come on. Right. If you want to perfect your pitch, come to Pitch Perfect every other Tuesday morning online. Just like, yeah. There we go. So, go back.
It's almost like a swear jar, that's
Pitch jar. There we go. Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love that story about where you came from. You know, you've overcome adversity and people going, it's like, oh, you're just a girl. Yeah, you can't do this. You can't do that. And you kind of got to a point of, actually, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Yeah.
And even though it's only been a couple of months, you know, you're obviously doing absolutely loads at the moment. You've got your merch, as you were saying, your apparel.
See, if Twisted, if I can say that because it's not me pitching.
Recommendations and referrals are perfectly acceptable here.
Yeah, so John, Holly and Ross, absolutely amazing. I tried to do something myself, and why would you? Same thing. Why try yourself when there's experts out there that know what they're talking about, support you and get the job done? And I will say as well, not only got the job done, delivered 2 days before needed it to be delivered. So,
There you go.
you know,
Brilliant.
what more can you want?
Happy days. Anyway, they've already had their podcast,
Yeah.
so let's talk about you.
I'm trying to get on the podcast, that's what it is.
So I want to look at some of the challenges that you've faced over the past couple of months. You know, now we've got to the point where it's like, you know, all the things. Actually, just very quickly, just top line it, just so that we have it for context here. The kind of work that you do. Actually.
So the work that I do, it's funny actually, because it is starting to go off in different directions depending on what people are asking me. So a lot of people are saying, "Oh, can you manage my social media?" Which is the whole package, which is captions, visuals, scheduling, SEO. You know, making sure the analytics are working, you're following the algorithms, and you're doing what you should to boost them. Another thing that I've started to do, which came out of the blue, is loads of LinkedIn banners.
Yes, actually, one of the first times I heard of your work, you were being recommended for LinkedIn banners. People were standing up. And
Yeah, but then I kind of came the LinkedIn banner lady, which is not really what I wanted. But you know, it's fine. There's still work there, and people need LinkedIn banners, so that's absolutely fine. But my aim is with people is, you don't want to be up at 8 o'clock at night when you've been to a networking event all day and you really want to plug that and say, you know, I'm one of these people that gets out and meets people and does things. You want to go to bed. You don't want to be sat up working on Canva till 10, 11 o'clock at night. You get up the next morning, you go to post it and you think, oh my God, that is awful. And then you start all over again. So that's what I do. I take that stress away from people. I do not write the captions. The reason for that is for example, if you're working with 2 nail technicians and you've got one nail technician who's got an offer going on for Mother's Day, and like, come to us, bring your mum, you know, treat your mum, it'll be lovely, and we'll do this special offer. And then you've got another person who goes, all right, my babbers, bring your ma down and we'll do a trotters for her, you know? So it's the person, it's the personality.
The Bristolian inside me just died.
But it's the personality of you and of your business that needs to come through. So I find it really difficult, for example, to write a caption that showed your person. I mean, I know you fairly well now, so I know a tone to your personality, but I think the caption should be written in the tone of the person that's trying to promote themselves.
Right.
So the caption comes to me, I get branding guidelines, I get desires, you know, what do they want it to look like? Do they want depth? Do they want moving visuals? Whatever they want. We have a really long chat about what you're looking for. And also, as small business owners, we need to know what we want out of social media, because a lot of people seem to think they want to go viral. But if you're one person and you go viral, what are you going to do? Are you going viral because you want clients? Or are you going viral because you're following trends and you want to get a big following on social media? as a small business owner, people need to know what they want.
Yeah.
So for me, to give an example, if I'm turning into a bit of a networking stalker. So when I'm at networking, the first thing somebody's going to do, because I'm in that world as well, the creative design world, first thing they're going to do is go and check my social medias.
Yeah.
So I want my social media to validate what I'm saying. If I say I can do a LinkedIn banner, I want to prove that I can. And that's what social media is for me personally. I'm not looking at going viral. I'm not looking at 10,000 followers, because all that does is make you have to respond to all those bloody followers. And when have you got time for that?
I do like what you were saying about your social media being more about, it's almost a portfolio, especially for people in your line of work. It's very much the case for a lot of people. It's none of the electrics work in an electrician's house sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do a lot of other stuff for other people. You do have to do stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
And it really should start at home.
Yeah.
But it can be very easy to forget that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm quite rigorous on having my 30-day content done. And then if something pops up, so my content is done for May.
Yep.
So I'm really organised with stuff like that. And also, if you look at it on the 15th of May and you think, oh, I don't know why I wrote that, you can change it if you want, but it's done and the stress is gone. You don't.
That actually ties in with what I was going to be saying here about the difficulties that you face with starting up.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things, all of us who have started our companies from scratch.
Yeah.
It's getting everything kind of prepared at the start.
Yeah.
And staying on top of it. So
Yeah.
you're a couple of months in. Mm-hmm. I've seen your output. It's very good. It's very consistent.
Thank you.
Right? You are still somewhat in the early days. What are your anticipations? Oh, sorry, what do you anticipate happening next with regards to your own content, and how are you going to manage it?
So for my own content, I'm going more down the route because obviously being a startup, you do have quite a lot of time where you're not necessarily doing anything. So I schedule in a day of research. I schedule in a day of looking at other people that do the same similar thing that I do.
Yep.
There's no harm in that. There's no harm in looking at your competitors and seeing what they're doing. And in actual fact, if it gives you a light bulb moment and you can change that, you're not copying it word for word, then that's great. And I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind anyone taking some inspiration from what I'm doing. In fact, that's one of the reasons I'm doing it. And I've been doing a couple of posts recently. I've changed it up a bit where I'm offering tips. So I'm giving really simple tips that people can do to make their visuals pop. They can make them stand out slightly, because you only have something like 0.3 seconds to get somebody to stop and look at your post.
Yep.
That's it, 0.3 seconds. And in that time, I read today that people scroll 300 feet, something like that, and it's the same height as the Statue of Liberty. So people will scroll 300 feet a day. A day. Why are they going to stop and look at yours? What have you done differently? What is stopping them in that first second of looking at your post? And that's what I want to give to people.
Right, that's brilliant. So I want to know a little bit more about you being a startup.
Yeah.
Is this the first company that you've officially started?
Yeah.
So it's entirely brand new. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
In that case, incredibly well done.
Thanks.
So I want to know what was something that you expected, even in the first couple of months. What was something you expected that it turned out was actually different? Like, was there something in which you were going, it was like, oh, it's going to be like this, and then you got in there and you went,
yeah,
oh, hang on a minute. Oh no, this is very different to what I was anticipating.
Yeah,
and how did you react to that? Networking?
Yeah.
Okay.
It filled me with dread.
Even though you'd done networking for your previous job, now going out as yourself?
Yeah, because
Really?
it matters. I don't mean it didn't matter. I don't mean it didn't matter with my last job,
Right,
but you don't have the same
more direct, isn't it?
passion. Well, yeah, and it's yours. You want to succeed. It's not that I didn't want to succeed for the last company. It's just I was going out as the operations manager, talking about mortgages. So a client had come up and go, oh, I've got 2 buy-to-lets. What should I do? Should I put it through my limited company? Should I do this? And I'm going, I'm an operations manager. So the difference between that and doing it for myself is I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I have the confidence to be able to say, let's have an hour's free chat. If you use me, great. If you don't, I promise you will go away and look at your stuff differently. And if that helps people, that helps people.
That's brilliant.
So networking for me has been the best thing as a startup. And we were chatting earlier, as a startup, the support that you get is just unbelievable from you, from Ryan, from Tim. It has been off the hook. You know, I never in a million years thought that people would support you as much as you guys have. And, you know, I found so many people. I found John. I've got my accountant sat there staring at me, looking at about who's buying the drinks and is it on my company card. And, you know, without I haven't bought him a drink yet. Maybe I should do that, keep him happy. But, you know, I'm looking at Diane, who I've done her masterclass for women. And I got to be honest, when I first done it, I've worked in management, I've worked in different places, you know, jack of all trades, master as none. And even doing the class with Diane, light bulbs go off because it gives you that moment to think about what's being asked, whereas normally you're going 100 miles an hour, you don't sit down, you don't think. Yeah. So all of that has come from networking. And I will be honest with you, bar one client, all of my clients are from networking.
Really?
Every single one of them, except for one who's a friend of mine. And it's not only through me meeting them, it's through other people recommending me. And I just think for a startup, it's worth its weight in gold. You do have to. You only get out what you put in, though. If you're a startup and you go and sit in the corner and you don't get involved, you're not going to get anything out of it. And I also believe that you can't expect people to come up to you and want to know what you do. So I always kind of led with, oh, what do you do? And, you know, it's about giving before you even remotely think about receiving. And yeah, it's been phenomenal for me.
That's brilliant. That's so fantastic to hear. And I'm incredibly happy that we've been a part of that as well.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
Really, really appreciate that. We're so happy for you. And, you know, obviously, like we said, seeing you, everything you've done, even just over the past couple of months, has been absolutely marvellous.
Thanks.
And yeah, you're going to go miles. You're going to go more than 300 feet a day, sort of thing. You're going to go absolutely brilliantly. That sounded funny in my head. I'm terribly sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
It was funny.
Excellent. Thank you. You can come back. Okay, so I think we should probably go around to the actionable tip. No. I remember the other question I wanted to ask you.
Oh, God.
Would you put yourself more as introverted or extroverted?
Look at me.
I'll give you a moment.
I think I've always been extroverted until I struggled with confidence.
Right.
And I never struggled with confidence before. I didn't care. I'd walk up to, you know, whoever it was. I didn't care at all. And I think he'd agree that I was gobby. I'm Welsh.
He'd agree that you were Welsh?
Well, he knows I'm Welsh because I when the rugby's on, he ain't got a choice. So that's why he plays golf all the time. But yeah, I was bolshy, not in a horrible way, but I was, you know, I know who I am. This is who I am. If you like me, great. If you don't, I don't really care. But I think as a business owner, yes, you can not care whether people like you or not use you. But that's not going to help you. So sometimes you have to rein it in a little bit and read the room. And but like I said, there's so many people in here I feel comfortable with and feel comfortable expressing, you know, challenges and goals and talking about how we can improve. And to have that support when you work on your own and you work from home, networking for a lot of people is not just about connecting, it's about a social minute, you know, having a coffee with someone else who understands what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would have said extrovert up until, you know, I was in school plays and I played the drums when I was younger and thought that was a bit boring, so learnt the trombone. And, you know, just like, if people said I couldn't do it, I will learn the trombone. You know, don't tempt me. And having an older brother who was very close in age, I always wanted to outdo, always. So yeah, then I would say extrovert. Now, I think I'm more of an introvert.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, in that case,
Yes.
thank you very much for everything you said. It's been absolutely fantastic story, really excellent.
No problem. Thank you.
Thing. That probably wasn't picked up on the cameras or anything. But some people downstairs were clapping as well, so thank you for that.
Yeah,
that's
that's
brilliant.
nice. Thank you.
That's brilliant. We would like you, and you've actually already given quite a lot of really good advice as well, but if you were to give one actionable tip for people to take home today, that can be as a new business owner, that can be as creative. What would you say to people to help them out today?
I mean, you guys are all business owners, and you've been going a lot longer than I have. But what I will say, what I will say is find your people.
Yep.
Find your people, and when you've found your people, get a little WhatsApp group together. Don't go mad. Don't constantly spam them. And there are a few WhatsApp groups out there that are useful. There's a few that are asking for support, and I get that. But find your little crew, and once you've got them, it's not just about having someone to call when you're needing breakfast or having somebody to call when you need some advice. It's about connecting.
Yeah.
And whatever they give you, give back. Because that's important, that people don't see you're one-sided. And if you don't think you can do it, you can do it. You can do it. And I didn't think I could do it. And I thought he was crazy, because he was like, just quit your job. I know you'll sort it out. I know you'll do it. And, without the support of my family and my friends and the people in the community, maybe I wouldn't have. But that, for me, if you don't think you can do it, what harm is it going to be to try?
Yeah.
If you fail, you fail. Who knows? I might be working in Tesco in 8 months if they'd have me. But I'm trying, and I think everyone deserves a shot to go for it. Believe in yourself, believe in your product or your service, and everyone else will start to slowly believe as well. And that's my tip.
Absolutely marvellous. So, and that applies to everybody, startups, established businesses, and even upcoming businesses. That is advice that we can all take away. There's some businesses out there, might have been going a good few years, might be getting, you don't ever want to stop, to be honest. You can always learn something new, and sometimes it can be easy to, I've seen it can be very easy to forget things such as what you just said there.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much. Now, I thought a bit of a porcupine. Some of you know what's coming next, but I said no pitching. However, one person is allowed to pitch at Riverax Networking Connection and Collaboration, and that is our fireside guest. So if we could please have your 60-second pitch.
So if you don't know by now, I'm Ceri from Namade Creative, and I help small business owners to get seen on social media with their visuals. I help you take the time away that you can concentrate more on working on more important things, and I do your visuals for you. I do it as pay as you go, or I can do it in part of a package. I've got loads of people I collaborate with, so even if you don't need a social media graphic, I work with copywriters, I work with other people as well, videographers, and I can look at what you've got, give you some advice, give you some connections. It might be that you feel you need a refresh. For example, I was giving your details and Ryan's details out the other day because somebody really needs to get their headshots done. So that's what I do. Mainly social media visuals. I can do LinkedIn, I've recently done business card designs. So anything that you think needs designing, come and speak to me.
Fantastic. We are now going to go into the Q&A section of the Fireside Chats. So if anybody does have a question that they have for Ceri here, Ryan has got the microphone, which he'll hand it on over to you. And if you don't want to say your question out loud, if you scan that QR code, actually it's a little bit bigger here, if you scan that QR code, it'll go onto that link, then you can submit it online. So does anybody have any questions here, starting off for Ceri? And if not, I'll just go straight onto the website. So.
Go on, I'll start.
Yeah?
Wouldn't know to get away with that easily.
I thought it was safe then. And he's going to ask a really difficult one.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello? Give him a moment. There we go, yep.
Hello. That's better.
Hello.
Hello. You were saying about finding your people, finding your tribe. That, I think, shows that as a business owner, in just a couple of months, you've got a degree of self-awareness about your business that most business owners don't get in years, frankly, because it's so much the crucial thing, and I don't think people realise how important the people are. So really, just well done for thinking that, and well done for the huge steps you've taken in a very short time.
Thank you very much. I couldn't have done it without you, Tim. You know that.
Does anybody else have any? I mean, there wasn't actually a question in that. That was just really nice. Does anybody have any questions? Or you can just say something nice. That is also perfectly fine.
Hi.
Yeah.
Is there a particular type of client that you're looking for, or a collaboration that you're looking for?
To go into collaboration with?
Yeah, either. Yeah.
Happily go into collaboration with anybody that feels that they can benefit from anything. You know, yes, I do the social media visuals or the business cards or the LinkedIn banners or whatever, but I have been a manager of businesses for I'm showing my age now, but over 30 years I have been a manager. So I know about quite a bit of business stuff as well. So I'm happy to have a chat with anybody if it helps them with their businesses. If anyone wants a one-to-one, a chat, just let me know, and I'm happy to connect, and then maybe we can find out where we could collaborate. But yes, I'm 100% up for collaboration. I think it's the way forward for small businesses.
That's fantastic to hear. Let's have a quick look. Just see. Oh no, wrong one. Any questions here? Okay, no, everybody is. Nobody's feeling sneaky this time, so that's fine. Okay. Marvellous. Well, if there's no other questions, then was that? Oh no. Okay. it's like when you go to auction and stuff, isn't it? It's like you do anything. It's like, oh crap, I've just bought a boat. In that case, just one more time. Thank you very much, Ceri.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.